Well, hello, White Sox fans, and welcome to another edition of the FutureSox podcast. My name is Ian Eskridge. Joining me, as always, Mr. James Fox. How are you, James?
I'm good, man. What's up?
Week till the draft. Week
I
to the
know.
draft. We've been working towards it for months now, and it's finally almost here.
All the scouts are congregating together in the same location in the same building. I think the national scouts all congregated together and got their GM fired. So, my goodness gracious, like it's so weird.
Yeah, I don't understand how you fire your GM and your manager 6 days before the draft.
Well, to me, it
That
seems
is
like they
crazy.
probably wanted Mike Rizzo to fire Davey Martinez, and he wouldn't, so they fired both of them.
Hmm.
It's what it seems like, right? I mean, they'll do a search. I mean, they're like the second richest owners in the sport, but they don't act like it, so they could go get whoever they want, like in theory. They've undergone a lot of change as far as like on the scouting side and the international side. Because remember they like kept Mike Rizzo 2 years ago, but then they changed out everybody under him. It was like kind of strange. So they have Danny Haas, who was the scouting director for the Diamondbacks for years, as their scouting director. So um, they just appointed an interim GM that was internal, but my guess is this is like the scouting director's draft now for them. The thing I find interesting is Rizzo is a big time Boris guy, and the top two guys in this class are both Boris guys. So, like, what does that change for them? I think that'll be interesting to hear this week if any of that like leaks out.
Yeah, I mean, the second that I saw the tweet come over from Jeff Passan, I was just like,
Yeah,
like I was just shocked. I mean, like just the timing of it all. And you mentioned the Boris thing, and that's a big thing because and I don't even know that it'll necessarily really change anything. Like with who they, I mean, maybe they already know who they're going to take with the first pick, and like that's not really that big of a deal. Um, but you look at uh, what he's done over there with the trades that they've gotten and everything. I mean, like imagine the scouting just for that Juan Soto trade to get like I mean Harlan Susanna is a as a throw-in piece, and the guy's now throwing 100 and looks
yeah.
absolutely fantastic. I mean, they did like a phenomenal job scouting on that trade, and I don't know. It's just to me it seemed like I don't
Yeah.
know what to think about it.
Well, he hasn't been able to develop pitchers, and they've taken like some high school bats that have like stalled and not made it. But they do have like a decent young core where like now if they decide to go spend, like they like James Wood is awesome. Um, they other guys from that trade, like you have CJ Abrams, they have some pitchers coming through the system. You got Travis Sikora and some other guys, and they're picking up one here, obviously. I mean, that's why I think like Kate Anderson was the favorite for this pick, just because like he could be in the big leagues next year, and it's like a front end lefty, like it, right to the big leagues. So the thing that's interesting about that is like obviously last year, the draft bonus record was, broken, established, whatever you want to say, with Chase Burns and Charlie Condon each getting 9.2 million. The slot value at one is $11 million. That's not happening. But you would think that if you're taking a Boris client at one, he's definitely breaking the 9.2, and he's probably asking for 9.5 because Kate Anderson is not falling further than 3 to the Mariners, and Holiday's not falling further than 4 to the Rockies, and they're probably going to get like they could get the bonus record at either of those spots anyway. You know what I mean? So that's why I think this is interesting. Like instead of Mike Rizzo being like, "Oh yeah, um, just to Scott, like, oh yeah, we'll give you 9.5 here. Like maybe now they underslot a high schooler. Like I don't know. So I just think that part of the whole thing is interesting because there were Eli Willits rumors for them, and the interesting thing about Eli Willits is that he did not take a physical at the combine, so he could take like a massive haircut if he wanted to. Some of these guys, like the big distinction is like if they took physicals at the combine, you have to pay them 75% of the slot, and with an $11 million slot, you're still talking 8.5 million regardless, right? So, even if they were to take JoJo Parker, right? I mean, it's still probably close to $9 million because they don't really have a choice.
Yeah, it's I don't know. the possibilities are endless. Just so I mean, that's just a week out from the draft. It's just insane to
We're
me.
not gonna know. We won't know the Nationals pick. Like, I mean, we might know when we kick things off at 5 p.m. next Sunday. But I bet it's like a few minutes before that where it like leaks out like who they're taking.
Yeah. Just so we'll tell you here, we are planning on getting to that. We just we're gonna do
Yeah.
that a little bit later. We're not gonna hop on that right now, because we're gonna talk about Coulson Montgomery, who was just recently promoted here. Now, you and I had talked off stream about him possibly getting called up for the Blue Jays series, so he was home for his debut, but it seems like it was a pretty good idea to call him up in Colorado.
Yeah, it's worked out. I'm not really saying anything yet because I don't want it to burn me. Like, hey, Colson Montgomery looks awesome. Like it's like 3 days in, like, and then
But
he
you said
he goes on an he goes on an 0 for 38 now. Like whatever. But I mean, look, here's the thing. Like you've seen variations of this kid's swing. You've seen him swing with a hurt back. You've seen him swing for the fences. Like it looks pretty good right now, actually. Like I mean, he's facing Colorado Pit, but I mean, like he turned around Dolander today. I mean,
yeah,
that's like as good a young guy as it gets. So, look, he looks like he belongs. We'll see what that means like going forward. It's 3 games, but I'm excited that he. I mean, look, we don't have to watch some of the guys we've been watching, so I'm all for watching Coulson the rest of the year.
yeah. I mean, like he didn't get a hit in his first game, but that catch that he made at shortstop, like the first thing you tweeted me was, "Oh, looks like he could stick at shortstop, maybe."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, no, I
um,
think I was more passive aggressive. I said he's not a shortstop though. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I
Well, I'm
mean,
just sick of people that like if you don't think he's a shortstop, like if you said James, I don't think he can play shortstop. Great, like I would totally take your word for it. I don't have time for people who have never seen him play saying he's a third baseman because he's 6'5" or whatever. Like people who I know aren't watching MILB TV every night, like, oh, he's not a shortstop. Like I don't have time for that for guys that have never even seen him try to do it.
yeah. Yeah, Uncle Ted, he could be a Gold Glove third baseman. That's entirely possible. But you know what? Let's pump the brakes on it. Let's see what he can do. I mean, you've seen him in the first the first 3 games that he's played, and he's looked like a competent shortstop. I mean,
Right.
he's gonna have errors. He's gonna have mental miscues because he's a young kid trying to feel his way through playing shortstop at the major league level. And there's gonna be some mistakes and whatever, but I mean, I'd say that the early returns are in saying that, hey, he looks like he can at least hold his own at shortstop.
Yeah, and I think that changes like the expectations a little bit on the bat. Like we've talked about this. Like if he can play shortstop for a while, he can be like a 260 power hitter. You know what I mean? He can be like a 260 hitter that hits for power, that's playing shortstop. Like if he goes to third or elsewhere, left, first, like the bat's really going to have to carry him. That's why I'd like him to be at short as long as possible.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I am trying to look up because there's a question in there about what percentage his pitches were
Well,
on
he
the
jumped on
fastballs.
a first pitch fastball today against Dolander. So he tried, he threw him a four seamer and he singled. I didn't watch last night's game, but I didn't watch his at bats either. I just saw the hits. So, but yeah, I mean, I think like some of the concerns with him were like hitting velocity, right? So we shall see. I don't know who the matchups are against Toronto this week, but he's going to have 7 more games here at home this week.
I don't think that they'll see Scherzer because I think he just pitched yesterday. Trying to think.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll have to look that up.
Barrios
Yeah.
tomorrow. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's had his at various points. He's had his problems on any kind of pitch. I mean, so I'm not going to say that one guy or the other is going to give him fits. Although, one of the best pitchers over the last 20 years, would certainly not be somebody that you'd want him to see if you could avoid it.
Yeah.
But hey.
Well, I think the Corey Seager scouting reports were right. We know enough.
Yes,
Yeah,
I agree.
He's Corey Seager.
Greatest baseball player to ever live. Book it.
I can't wait to get aggregated tomorrow on that.
Yeah, I mean,
James Fox says he's Corey Seager. Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's going to be pointed at you, not literally everybody else that said it from the national media since the kid was drafted.
Yeah, it's okay.
It will be solely pointed at you, and if he doesn't, live up to those expectations, James Fox is a dunderhead.
Yeah. Well, that part's true. Yes.
Yeah, well, hey.
They've had, so I think it's 11 debuts this year. I think I heard Jesse Rogers talking about the record is 18 in a season. That's quite a lot.
That's, yeah. I don't think that they can hit 18, although with pitchers,
maybe
they might be able to.
Well, but I think Iriarte has already debuted technically, right? So, Paulette, Addison Coffey would be two more potentially. If you see Schultz, yeah, I mean, look, there could be others. So we will see.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, one of my guys that I've been loving on since 2023, Tanner McDougal.
Yeah, it's not out of the question, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, with him being Rule 5 eligible coming up this year, I mean, he's going to have to be put on the 40-man at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. What you're going to be looking at is how much longer does Charlotte's season run than Birmingham's? At least a couple weeks, right?
Yeah, I think it's.
So the Charlotte season's the same as the big league season.
It's at least, I think it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Okay, so your choices are going to be promote him to Charlotte and have him start in Charlotte, or just add him to the 40-man early and put him in the big league bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of.
I think there's
a lot of stuff.
For sure.
Zach Franklin, Trey brings up. He's looked really good in the Birmingham bullpen so far.
He has, yeah. The only question with guys like him is do you want to add him and carry him all off season?
Yeah, you have time with a Zach Franklin, but yes. Trying to think, and there is. Kevin brings up Noah Schultz. Yes, there is that possibility.
I am expecting it.
I am too.
Out of the big league bullpen, whatever his last innings are, I think are up in Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just the only reason I'd say that they wouldn't do it if they didn't want to eat up the 40-man spot, because they know that this year in particular is going to be kind of complicated.
Mm-hmm. They have a lot coming off, though, man.
I still see it happening, though.
Yeah, he's going to be in the bullpen to end the year, because I think they want him in the 26 rotation to start. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, if he's going 2 2/3 every time out because he's terrible, maybe that changes things. But I think he'll get it together a little bit. I don't know what year that 18 was. It was, and it wasn't it's not the Sox record. It's the overall record. So Jesse Rogers hosted White Sox Weekly, and I listened to some of it, and I heard him mention that. I don't know that they can get to 15, but I don't know that they can get to 18.
I mean,
we'll see.
With the expendable guys and with trades, I mean, I could see them getting to 15 or 16, but 18 is a lofty goal.
Well, because I mean, even a Tristan Gray, has he played in the majors before? Some of these other. So. Okay, so some of these guys have already debuted.
Yeah, which he was just moved over to the 40 yesterday.
Yeah, it's very strange. So they added Tristan Gray to the 40-man. My guess is he had an opt-out and they just want to keep him, and then they just optioned him to Charlotte. So he's still in Charlotte, but he's on the 40-man. But who knows? He could be on the team at some point because he's on the 40-man now.
Yeah, I think he did play with the A's a little bit.
Okay. So the A's, I think, are the only team this year that has more debuts than the Sox do.
Yeah, he did. It was last year with the A's.
Yeah.
And it looks like he only had 4 plate appearances.
Well, he's
debuted. No. 20 or 31.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Crazy. So no debut from him, but there are plenty still around.
Yeah, there are other random guys like Jared Kelly is in Birmingham. He's Rule 5 eligible. Like, I don't know that he's necessary to keep necessarily, but I mean, look, wacky stuff happens in September.
No, they don't, Uncle Ted.
Obi,
OBP nerds do not love Ryan Noda.
well, I think they liked him as
The
like
thought of him, maybe.
when he was like the Rule 5 like hipster dude from the Dodgers that the A's took, but now I don't think Ryan Noda's gonna be on the Sox much longer.
Yeah, here's another one. Andrew Dalquist.
Yeah,
He's looked
he's
good
another one.
in
Yeah.
Birmingham's bullpen as well. He could possibly make it up. I mean, I fully expect with the trade deadline for the White Sox to move a couple of these guys. Like who, I don't know. I mean, I would maybe Steven Wilson.
Yeah, I think anybody with like if Booster gets back, I think he definitely goes. Steven Wilson probably goes. Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, I would think Hauser goes now out of the rotation, like.
Yeah.
And then Talkman's interesting. We've talked about Talkman, like he's good. Like they technically have another RBer, so if you don't get something you like I would keep him on next year's team, and just tenure him.
I would think that you should be able to get something interesting for him, and
he could.
Trey brings up Michael A. Taylor too. Same thing.
I feel like Talkman could like really help somebody.
Yep.
And like even look at the Cubs. Like I know the Cubs are murdering Eric Fetty right now. Their lineup against lefties has been bad. I mean, even if they had like Austin Slater on their bench, that would be helpful to them. He's way better than what like Michael Turner has given them.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting next couple of weeks here.
And do you think when they inevitably trade Luis Robert here, like Brooks gets center field? It seems like they're more comfortable with it.
I mean, yeah,
like most of the time. Like,
yeah, probably. I mean, unless they don't manage to, trade Michael A. Taylor for whatever reason, and they decide to keep him around because he has been. I mean, he has been important to the team. He's put in some good innings for him. So
that's true. So one other thing I wanted to mention, like here, just about, so like one of my Sunday things is like I wake up in the morning and have caffeine and then read Bob Nightingale. Today in his notes or whatever he calls it, like he put how the Phillies are just atrocious against left-handed pitching. I think this is the opening to move Luis Robert. So I don't know if we talked about this on this show or not, but like Roberts hit 268, 406, 464, 17% walk rate, and a 144 WRC plus against lefties. That tells you how bad he's been against righties because like he's murdering left-handed pitching. He's terrible against righties. It's a 220 BABIP, but he's still really good defensively and steals bases. So I don't know what that brings you back in return, but I could see why the Phillies would like want him on their team. Like even if it was just, he's their 8-hitter against righties and he's a big factor against lefties and he plays good defense in center field.
Yeah, the defense is, like you might be able to float him at least a couple games a week against righties and be okay with that. And if you are working on something with his swing, maybe talk yourself into putting him in the lineup for a couple of those games.
Yeah.
It just, to me, it seems like the more they've tried to work with him on hitting the baseball, he gets farther away from hitting the baseball.
100%. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he's moved like next week. Like the draft ends Monday. If he's traded like Wednesday, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, me either. It's it'd be a sad end to his tenure here on the South Side and to the first rebuild because I mean that's pretty much what that would signify is that everybody from that thing is gone. So, where did you want to move to next here? Do you want to move to that Merkin?
Yeah, we can talk about that
thing?
quickly. Yeah, we can knock the draft stuff out. So we're gonna talk to Joe Doyle on Tuesday night and release like an extra episode this week. That'll be our draft preview. And then what? Before we get out of here, we can talk about details of next Sunday, Monday.
Yeah.
But so Scott Merkin spoke to Mike Shirley today.
I'm
So
so glad.
I put out an email to the White Sox because if Mike Shirley's meeting with the media pre-draft, I would like to be on that. Haven't heard back, but Merkin kind of reached out to him. So I reached out to some people to try to interpret this tweet. I don't know if you want to like read it or pull it up. Like I
I
can say what I
am.
think it means.
Yeah, I was just going over here and was going to pull that up. Go ahead and do that. Oh, there we go. So, surely, two college hitters. There's two strong college pitchers we like. There's about 5 high school shortstops that we worked really hard on. And there's one high school pitcher that is extremely talented. His talent is something that makes you pay attention to him.
Yeah, I mean, so if Seth Hernandez is on the board at 10, I think they're taking him. I don't expect him to be on the board because I think he's the best player in the class personally, but it's a high school righty. So I feel like out of these 10 names, and somebody I talked to that does some like similar stuff to us, like disagrees with this that I'm about to say, like as far as the holiday part. I don't think he's counting Holiday or Kate Anderson in his 10 because I'm confused otherwise. Because he says 2 college starters, right? I just like don't think he would publicly cross off one of those 3 lefties, like even if they don't like one of them, right? So my thought is like Kate Anderson, there's no chance he gets to them. So the 2 college pitchers he's talking about to me are the other 2, Liam Doyle and then Jamie Arnold from Florida State. So I think he means those 2, Seth Hernandez. Those are the 3 pitchers. Like I'm pretty confident the 2 college guys are Gavin Keelan of Tennessee and Merrick Houston of Wake Forest, who I'm not a fan of, but I think it's pitching or shortstop. So
High
that's
school shortstop.
probably, but I think the 2 college guys are shortstops. Like I don't think I just kind of feel like so then if you're talking 5 high school guys, 2 that they've done a lot of work on, I think we know these names: Billy Carlson, JoJo Parker, probably Kason Cunningham, even though we haven't really talked about him. Eli Willits, and then Steele Hall. Now, look, I mean, in theory, like Holiday could be one of those names, but he's not getting past 4, so it would be pointless to have him lumped into your 10. But also, like if you're not counting Kate Anderson and Holiday, you really need 10 names. I don't know that you do. So, yeah, I don't I really I was wrong last year, but I think barring something crazy happening, like it's probably a prep shortstop. I don't know how much they like the pitchers, right? Like if Jamie Arnold's on the board at 10, like they might I have no idea what they think about Jamie Arnold. Like if something like that were to happen, right? If Iva Arquette fell to 10, like what I don't really know how they feel about that. So
Yeah, I mean, I've got, I don't know, just I'm pitching for crying out loud. I get it, but there's just the White Sox have so many arms.
yeah.
And I know that you can never have enough arms, but holy moly, man.
Well, I think at this point, like, and it's out there and it's well documented, and like that doesn't mean that it's true, but it seems like Parker and Carlson would be their preference. One of them, like, just and if they're comfortable, like, you got to be really comfortable with Ryan Fuller to be comfortable with Carlson, just because like it's an immediate swing change. Now, I think lots of people have said like teams are like, oh yeah, we could fix that, right? It's not
Yeah.
like one of these things. It's like, oh, he's doing this, and we need to have him do this instead, type of thing. So it's like not that concerning, but it's like your first round pick needs a swing change. Like it's kind of okay. And then JoJo Parker, obviously the concerns are just that he's not going to stay at shortstop, but they need bats. So, yep, either of those would be good, but there's no way they know what's going to happen in front of them right now because it's all about money, and there's just not a consensus because the class isn't that good.
And now the Nationals have fired their GM.
Yeah,
with the number 1 pick.
And so like in theory that doesn't really like it's interesting for us to talk about, but it doesn't really open anything up for the Sox
No, but I mean, it
because
changes
those
everything after, right?
right because those two dudes like look, Holiday's not getting past the Rockies, and Kate Anderson's not getting past the Mariners at 3. So even if something crazy happened at 1, the Angels will still do the Angels thing probably with like a Liam Doyle or something, or maybe they would take Kate Anderson then and just he'd be in the big leagues right away, and then but yeah, I think if you want these high school bats, I think you want Jamie Arnold on the board for the Cardinals to take, in my opinion, because then that gives you a better chance of like one of the bats being there for you. Because like Pittsburgh could go prep bat, Marlins could go prep bat, Toronto could go prep bat. You know what I mean? So, um, and for anybody who's like scared to death of a high school pitcher, you probably want Seth Hernandez to go in front of you. I would be fine with him falling to 10, especially in this org. But like I get why everybody wants bats. Like I agree.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Joe Doyle has to say here coming up later this week.
Yeah, and he's one of the people I reached out to about the Washington stuff, and he said like this, like Scott Boras is probably throwing chairs in California somewhere right now. I mean, he's still going to get his money, but he doesn't have his buddy in Mike Rizzo like at 1 right now.
Well, at least Elijah doesn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, right.
Doesn't have to worry about binders being thrown at his
Oh
head.
yeah, that's true. He doesn't. Yes, unless
um,
unless Aram throws one at him.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's entirely possible. He
Yeah,
looks like he's a militant ruler over there.
yeah.
So there's a bunch of questions in here, and this is just kind of a throw it together episode because we're leading up to the draft. We've had guests for like the last month every time, pretty much, with fill-in episodes with other guests. We're gonna have another guest. Then it's draft time. So there's questions in here about Lenine Sosa and what his role going forward here is going to be with the way that they are fashioning the infield. Now you've got Chase Mydroth, you've got Colson up, you've got Miguel Vargas. Where does that leave Lenine Sosa? Tim Elko probably. I mean, he's back down in Charlotte, and he looks like he's kind of corrected a couple of things, and he's back to hitting home runs again. He's already between the White Sox and the Knights. He's at 20 home runs already, and it's the first week of July. Um, there has been, I mean, albeit just Twitter talk, as far as I know, mention of him, Sosa possibly being a candidate to be traded because, you look at the low walk rate and the defense is kind of suspect. And he does kind of seem to be more, from my eyes, having watched him for years now, in my eyes, he's a second baseman. I mean, you could try and teach him first base, but as Wash says, it's hard to play first base. It is not an easy position. And in my personal opinion, I would much rather have an actual first baseman on this roster. And I would prefer Tim Elko to a Ryan Noda for sure. But what are your thoughts on what's going to happen here with Lenine Sosa?
I mean, if he's traded on deadline day for something, like I'm not going to be surprised. I don't know how much value he has as what he is. Like I think he's solid. I mean, he's definitely a big leaguer. He doesn't walk. He can hit lefties. He's got some power. He's not great defensively. But I mean, if Colson's going to be here, like Mydroth has to play second, like all the time. So then he's DHing like I don't want him playing first. Like I agree with you. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like once all the kids are playing and like the trade deadline is passed, like Tim Elko needs to be at first base because they just like need to give him some runway and figure it out. Nobody else will be playing third that matters. So, like I know like they wanted to get Josh Rojas sometime and whatever, right? But like Vargas should be playing third. Rojas will be gone. And then, but the other thing is like I don't like Sosa can't really DH because Benintendi DHs all the time. But like I want both catchers playing all the time. Not like if you're gonna sit Teal like against a lefty, okay, fine. Like that I can live with right now. Like he catches like against he catches or he should catch or DH anytime a righty's on the mound, though, in my opinion, anyways. And Caro's been fine from both sides. So in theory, like Caro should face every lefty. And Teal. So if you can make it so Caro's the catcher against lefties, then Sosa can probably DH against lefties. But I mean, that's his only role is DHing against lefties, you know? I mean, so yeah, if he got moved, I wouldn't be surprised. I just don't know that he's going to have enough value to actually do it, but he is out of options and he's definitely, not one of your primary guys. So yeah, I'm interested to see kind of.
Yeah, not one of your primary guys, but he drives in half your runs.
Well, I just mean like, yeah, he's not like one of their guys for the future. It doesn't seem like. It seems like they've given up on him multiple times, and he keeps hanging around because he like hits.
Yeah, I mean, I have liked his bat for ages now, and I've never thought he was a great defensive player ever.
He's worse than I thought, though.
It's the mental blunders.
Like
that's
I knew it wasn't like plus defense. Like I thought he'd be average. And he just does a lot of dumb stuff, man.
Well, that's the thing. It's not necessarily that his glove is that bad. Yeah. It's just that he forgets where he is. He's like, oh yeah, I play baseball. He just forgets that he's on a baseball field.
And do you think he did anything wrong on the Ohtani play the other night? Because I really don't. I think that guy's a mutant. Like, was the turn bad?
The throw at second base?
Well, because Taylor technically probably got him out of that inning if it was anybody other than Ohtani hit. Like, he gets the ground ball double play. They get the out at second, and then Ohtani beats it at first because he's an alien.
Well,
but I mean, if that's a great defender at second, do they turn it? Like, I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think that they turn the double play, but I think they at least get one. And if he had been standing on second base, which he wasn't, just like he wasn't standing on first base for a play a couple of weeks ago. It's just like he forgets that he needs to stand on a bag for a force out, and that's a problem.
Yeah, and I mean, look, playing first, like mid-season, it's like, I know it's like very easy for me or anybody to be like, oh, just go stand at first. It's fine. But I mean, like, it is
not fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like you go, oh, it's first base. Like, you don't have to have a huge amount of range. All you have to do is just, be there to catch the ball and whatever. And yeah, that seems like it's pretty simple, but that position is not simple. It is pretty difficult. Footwork's is a huge deal over at first base, just like it is at shortstop and second base. It's just a different kind of footwork, and if you're not used to it.
Well, he is like a league average player. Like, he's 97 WRC plus on the season. So, like, I mean, because he just doesn't walk ever. I think that's probably like the biggest issue. But yeah, I mean, he's got power for a team that's not very good. I just wanted to look at against left. So he's actually like better against righties. He's got a 105 WRC plus against righties and a 76 against lefties. So there goes my idea. But
yeah, I mean, I don't have any answers here. I just know that he does drive in runs.
He does,
and he does get hits, and he's hitting pretty well. He's like bumping up against that 290 area, which is on this team is a big deal because they don't have anybody that's consistently hitting.
Well, and to me, I feel like I would just like after the deadline, I would just play Benintendi in the field. Probably he plays left, and you play Baldwin in center, and you figure out what you're going to do in right field. I wouldn't be surprised if Tauchman and Slater are both gone. Michael Taylor might even be gone too. Like, you would think the contenders would want these guys. They're like the White Sox best players, which is kind of a joke, but I mean, there's playoff benches that could use most of these guys.
Yeah, no, for sure. I like, I've been campaigning for Sosa for a couple of years, and I didn't just want him shipped back to Charlotte. I wanted to see him get some at bats, and we've seen him get at bats, and the hits have come. Just the issue is that the glove has, the brain has kind of left him at points. So
I just think it's a Chase Mydroth problem now, right? Because he like is clearly
it's not a problem.
No, right, but for Sosa, right? Like he's gonna play second because Colson's playing short. Now, unless you do something where Vargas becomes your first baseman and Sosa's playing third, like I don't know, but yeah, we'll see. It's one of the tertiary storylines, like what happens with some of these guys that are like the forgotten guys.
Well, that's what we're here for. We're here for the minutia to, break this all down. Not really, but so there was some outrage amongst White Sox Twitter earlier today about a guy who was on the 2005 White Sox roster.
Oh yeah, this was
Who
so.
just
This is just AI though, right? I mean,
it has to be right.
yeah, it's AI. I mean, there's no way a person did. Well, maybe I can't say that.
I mean, they've done it before
Yeah, that's true.
before AI
Yeah,
existed. So just another one of those times where ESPN has forgotten what the White Sox have done. Rest in peace, Bobby Jenks.
yeah,
Awesome
that
guy.
sucks. Yeah,
Just a all around bad situation. Everybody that that played with the guy is heartbroken, and this is sad stuff.
yeah,
And
and I think we all kind of knew it was coming. It doesn't make it easier, I'm sure, for his teammates and people that loved him. But yeah, I mean, from the beginning, it sounded like a really bad situation. I think we talked about it initially when it happened. Obviously, he wasn't like the thing that was crazy. So Danny Parkins was on like the afternoon show this week on 670 and said
yeah,
that he had like just had a conversation with Danks. What about Danks with Jenks like on the phone, and that he was gonna. So Danny's doing like the Cubs radiothon thing for cancer or whatever, like on
yeah,
July 31st, and Bobby was like gonna call in for an hour and like do a bunch of stuff and like talk about his journey and all this stuff, and then like literally like 5 days later, like he passed, So
yeah,
yeah, and obviously like, he was in Portugal and the whole. I'm sure they'll, for anybody going out next weekend, I'm sure it'll be as much of a like celebration about Bobby as it will like celebrating that team. They do have a lot of guys in town. You know, they had some pre-recorded stuff. You can tell because they had stuff right away to post. You know, about him in the past tense and that sort of thing. So they were. It seems like they were all kind of ready for this.
yeah. Trey, like, what are we doing here? Come on, man.
Oh yeah, the mango cart. Mango cart's awesome.
If I was drinking a twisted tea, I'd be knocking somebody out at a
Yeah,
quickie mart. All right, let me bring this up here from Trey. Any standouts on the farm lately? Rest in peace, Bobby. Thank you, Trey, for the super
some
chat. We appreciate that. I mean, Caleb Bonnemer's been
back. Yeah,
picked it
he's
up
back
this
a little
week.
bit.
Yeah, he's got a couple of extra base hits, which is a big deal because last month he only had one extra base hit all month, and it was a home run.
Yeah,
But it was in the first week of June, I think, and he didn't have any for a while. Obviously, Trey, you're a big Tanner McDougal guy. I'm a big Tanner McDougal guy.
yeah, he's been awesome.
He was fantastic. Um,
Yeah, your guy
yeah,
TJ McCants
TJ McCants
might be pretty
also.
good.
Yeah, he's all right. I've been waiting for the power to show up a little bit more. Been a lot of singles, but he is getting on base, and he started the season really late, so it's going to take him a little while to get his sea legs under him and all that stuff. But I mean, he started off like right out of the gate getting hits, so he's been nice. Um,
What do
not
you?
really anybody at Winston Salem. Alec Makarevich had a really nice couple of weeks here. So Alec Makarevich.
Yeah, so Winston Salem really needs a draft bad, so
Yeah.
they can get players from Kannapolis. And then these draft players can go to Canny. Like they need a different like team. So what do you think about like Jacob Gonzalez right now? Because it might not be like a ton of impact, right? But it's another guy that I think can play shortstop, and like it's a pick that was universally panned, and like he's been okay. Like I just kind of feel like he should be in Charlotte, and you should see if like the bat takes off, and then you could also just put him in the majors too. Because why the hell not?
Yeah, he's a tough one for me. Like my issue with him is that he started to make more impact with the baseball with the torpedo bat. But, like as I watch it and a lot of dinks and dunks,
Yeah, he can't
you
decide
know?
what he wants to be offensively.
Yeah. And it's like I don't know if there's enough power there consistently for him to be that guy. You know,
You're right.
I mean, and he plays a competent infield. He's a good fielder.
Can he be
Um,
a big league utility guy? I don't know.
I don't know. That's the thing. I mean, like if you're not expecting a ton out of the bat, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I
You
mean it's
know,
a 113 WRC plus in Birmingham. Um, yeah, I mean 9% walk rate. He doesn't really K much, which is good.
yeah.
But I mean with only 5 homers, it's just it's just not very much impact at all.
That's where I wonder with Jacob Gonzalez. I don't know if he hits the ball hard enough. I mean, he finds holes in the field with his with his hits. I mean, he does hit the ball fairly well, and he started off abysmally to
Yeah.
start this season, and the fact that he's back up to like 260 or whatever
Mm-hmm.
um, is a signal that he's improved a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, we were the pick in the first place. We were not
Grant Taylor was their first
excited.
round. He was their first round
Yeah,
pick.
yeah.
Yeah, just
Which
flip him.
he's looked pretty good. So that's been all
Yeah.
right.
No, I'm just kidding. But like that's. So what about Sammy Zavala? What have you seen from him?
He has improved a lot. He's impacting the baseball a lot more, I think, at least for home run power. Um, he's still only got like 6 home runs, I think.
Yeah.
So I mean, it hasn't taken off quite, like anybody had hoped, really, because I think he had like 20 home runs in A ball
Yeah, the
for the
system
Padres.
needs power really bad.
Yeah, it's a that is it's just a system wide thing. There's just not a lot of power bats out there. There's guys that can get hits, but like something that's been like a big deal for both Winston-Salem and Kannapolis so far this year is that when you need a big hit, they haven't been coming. You know, like you'll have some innings here and there where it really goes. And Kannapolis started off the season pretty well in that facet, but just lately it's not been a thing. Just the runners in scoring position has not done very well.
Yeah. So a couple things from Alec here. He brought up some of the young pitching. I do think they have like a next wave of pitching. Luis Reyes is interesting. Opper in Winston-Salem, his stuff is pretty nasty. The data is really good there. All we have on Lacombe are stats and data that we can't really share because of who we got it from, but he's disgusting. And then there's like some conflicting stuff on Yobel Rodriguez, and I'll get into the DSL guys here in a second. We had got some data that like he wasn't throwing that hard, but then like a Francis Romero, Dominican reporter tweets out that he's been 93 to 96. So like I'm just like a little bit conflicted there, but I mean he's 17-year-old Cuban righty with a 0 ERA in 18 innings. It's not a ton of. I think it's only like 15 Ks. But he hasn't given up any runs and he doesn't walk anybody like in the Dominican Summer League, which is good because all that league is. I mean, everybody in that league has like a 20% walk rate.
Not a lot of strikes being thrown by the pitching down there.
No, it's but I mean, so something I'm not used to seeing is the amount of hitters down there that have been really good, and sometimes that guy's a Jose Rodriguez who goes on a tear through your system, or it's a Javier Mogollon, right? Or it's some guy that goes to Arizona and never does anything ever again. Like so it's just really hard. I don't necessarily think that we do midseason, like we're not going to rank any of these guys because it's like impossible. Like we have no idea. But second year outfielder Christian Gonzalez is 18, hitting 431, 554, 615. It's a 197 WRC plus, and he is like a good so that's 550K. That was Patty's last class. He was okay last year, it's like league average down there. I mean, he's probably ready for Arizona, but they don't move anybody mid-season. And then Eduardo Herrera was their big signing last year, 1.8 million, just absolutely was terrible. Did nothing. Now he has a 153 WRC plus with a 20% walk rate. He's got 4 homers. So he's like turned it on at least a little bit where like some of the power has shown. So maybe he's not like the nothing that we thought. one of the issues is their big signing this year, Alejandro Cruz from Cuba, is struggling pretty bad, and he's 18, which isn't good, obviously. But Ben Badler made a note that Frank Mieses, the center fielder, was probably the best guy from their class. He didn't sign for very much money. I think it's like only $300K or something. But he's got a 122 WRC plus playing center field and with a 19% walk rate.
Has he been
Frank,
off for a little bit?
yeah, I think he met in like his OPS is like going down, but it's like still under 900, or it's still like 900. I think he played yesterday because I looked.
Okay.
I looked yesterday and he was back playing.
Okay.
But then there's a Jafrank Silva with a 137 WRC plus and a 15% walk rate. Jordani
Frank?
Jafrank
Jeff Frank.
J-E Frank.
Jeff Frank.
It's like, remember in Friday when they said you can't even spell Versace, and he says V-E Sachi.
Sachi.
Yeah, that's Frank Silva. And then Jordani Soto 16 playing shortstop with like a 120 WRC plus. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, all we have are stats, but the stats are way better than they normally are for these signing classes. Like this is like, so to me, like after we're done with draft stuff, like I'll reach out and see like whether I can talk to, whether it's Paul Yanish or somebody else, just what are they doing different down there? Like how much data are they using? Like, is this why the guys are finally good? Like, have they had other good players down there that they ultimately failed because they weren't doing any of this stuff? Like that sort of thing. Like I'll dig in that like later this summer. But it is promising that some of these kids might actually be decent. And then we don't have to like discuss Arizona because I think it is like a lot of like older guys and not many prospects. But the Arizona team's 26 and 21. They're always terrible, like always. And this year they're winning. And look, minor league win-loss record isn't like the be-all end-all, but you'd rather win. And they've just always been terrible, and they're not this time.
Yeah. That's been kind of a fun thing to look over there and not see losses, in 70% of the games that they play. Something new. So there's a bunch of comments in the chat here asking about the outfield for the White Sox with the minor leagues. And yeah, I'm not going to lie. There's been some ugly results as of late. Let's see. Alec brings up Wilfred Veras having a tough time. He just got off of a 2-week injury. Just got back up, but he's only hitting like 180 something. Braden Montgomery struck out 11 times and 21 at bats this week. I mean, there's been some rough results as of late, and I don't really have any answers at this particular moment. It's and especially like coming up to the major league level. I mean, the guys you're looking at right now is Corey Julks and Dom Fletcher. That's your guys in AAA that can spell anybody that was to get injured up on the major league level. I don't see anybody coming up from one of the other levels at this moment.
No, I think it'll be Charlotte, Filler, anybody that they get in a trade. Baldwin playing a lot of outfield, and look, they might keep a veteran or two. I mean, they might. So Mike Talkman, I mean, he has one more year of ARB technically. Like if they don't get what they want for him, he could be on next year's team. Michael Taylor could just still be here in theory. You have Benintendi, so yeah, I would think maybe you see Fletcher back. But other than that, I don't know. I mean, once they have the trade deadline, man, it's just like a race to the end of the season, essentially.
Yeah.
Alec, we're not talking about Yorker Fajardo.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, they were very much not concerned. I mean, I talked to scouts and I was like, "You guys not going to regret that one?" And they were like, "No." I'm like, okay. Now I do think like I see the vision on Cam Booser. Like had it worked out, like they spin him for more than and they still could if he gets back healthy, because I think he's been put in some bad situations by the White Sox. I think if he's somebody's second lefty, I mean, he's pretty good. Like can he go to the Phillies with Luis Robert to enhance your return? You know, something like that. Like, could it be could it be Booser and Adrian Hauser to somebody cheap? You know, maybe, right? So we'll see ultimately what happens. But I mean, I hated that trade the moment it was made, and I don't love it still.
Yeah, that was when it happened. I was like, why did you just do that? He just
Yeah, I'm
made
guessing it was,
everybody look stupid.
and I'm guessing that there's something with Fajardo that Bannister like didn't find essential, right? Like if he's like one of these guys who gets no extension, um, they
Puts
might,
ketchup on his hot dogs, something
yeah,
like
like
that. Yeah.
they might just be convinced that he's going to end up in the bullpen. And they're like, whatever, it's not a loss. But yeah, so we shall see.
Let's see here. Yes, Robert Galaney can play an outfield corner. I just don't know that they would do that at this point.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah. Let's see here. I would don't think that they would convert Joral Perez to an outfielder.
Is there a guy that's a
Yeah, that's
oh,
post draft. I would think at
Kevin?
this point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it just like kind of depends. Like I think they're more likely to get a Vargas type guy, like a failed former top guy, um, and gamble there than they just don't have much to trade unless Hauser like brings back way more than like I'm expecting. Because I mean he could help somebody if he pitches like this. We will see. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, and then I think Alex asked a draft question. No, it wasn't. I don't know who it was. I can't remember now. I think it was Kevin asked like about a best case scenario for next Sunday night and like if there's anything crazy that could happen, right? Like to me, the crazy thing would be like, you know, Eli Willits or Hernandez like falling to you. And then I think the best case scenario is probably JoJo Parker, like in my opinion. That would just be like I really like Billy Carlson. But if it's JoJo Parker, I think everybody would like it, and that would be easy to like get behind.
So Trey's asking about thoughts on Schultz. I know that there's been some mechanical goofy things going on as of late that have like kind of contributed to his results. I'm not worried about them, and I think it's going to be kind of one of those things where it's just going to be a learning process. I mean, he's still super young, and
Yeah, I'm not concerned either about Schultz.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, he gave up a couple of home runs.
he's not even throwing his cutter in AAA.
He threw
Like
one this week.
he's
He
gonna
threw
look
one.
he's gonna look totally different when they decide like, okay, you're in the majors now, pitch. Like I just like yeah, like the walk rate has to come down. Obviously, like if he's gonna walk 5 guys per 9, like it's a problem.
Yeah.
He just like wasn't that before this year at the same level. So I think they're tinkering with stuff. To me though, the thing that's disheartening is just like when he's forced out after like 3 2/3 because like he needs innings. And it's my whole we can do like the Hagen Smith thing too. Like I had a question, like I was asking her, like he's got 30 innings. Like what is the plan, right? Because I think they thought Hagen Smith was going to be in their 2026 rotation. Do they still think that? How many innings does he have to throw this year for them to be comfortable with him like in the big leagues next year start? You know what I mean? Like where do they think he needs to get to? Because if it's 80, he needs 50 more innings somehow. And they're letting him throw like 2 innings every week. So it's kind of frustrating at this point.
Yeah, that whole thing is I mean, he threw more in college than they're letting him throw. Like that to me, that just I don't know. You take him to Arizona, and then when you bring him back, you handle him with kid gloves. The guy was a horse in college. Like I don't understand what holding him back. Like I don't think as he's being pulled out of the game at like 2 2/3 innings or whatever it is that he's coming out gassed after 48 pitches or whatever. Like to me, I just don't the results that we have seen that people take, looking at all these things is that handling the pitchers this way doesn't keep them from getting injured. So I don't understand why the White Sox keep doing it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I think he needs to pitch. Like he's fine. Nobody hits him. He has 50 strikeouts in 30 innings. Like it's too many walks, but it's 50 strikeouts. Like nobody hits him. So I just I don't really get it. Vince asked me a question. So Callis said if Seth Hernandez gets past 3, there's a decent chance he falls to the Sox. Look, I think Pittsburgh at 6, Cincy at 9. I
Cincy especially.
I don't really see it. I think he's gone, but next Sunday night will be fun.
Yeah, we'll see what happens and get to that here in a second. You know what I should do? That little rant that I just had, I should clip that and post it on Twitter. Maybe Bannister will see it and then he'll respond.
Yeah, that would be great.
Because
I'd love
that's what it seems to
he can
take.
come on the show. Like give us
I
10
would
minutes.
love for that
I
to
love
happen.
that. I love that guy.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't trust him. I just like it's just I don't get it. Like I don't understand like why this is like I mean it's you drafted a quick to the majors college guy over the number 1 prospect in baseball. Like what are we doing? Like this guy had like I understand like circumstances have changed a little bit because he was on the shelf, but like you didn't draft Connor Griffin so that you could draft this guy. Like he needs to be in the big leagues soon.
Yeah, he has to be good. Like if this guy's not good, you just colossally botch that first pick.
Yeah, and I do think like there is some like reliever talk on the internet. Like I was arguing with people yesterday, where it's like I'm not even considering that. Like he's a starter, but like he needs to pitch.
Yeah, you have to put him on. You have to allow him to pitch and work through some things. I would think. Just my thought.
Kason Cunningham, Jack, isn't my favorite of those shortstop types. I think he's a definite second baseman, but he can really hit though. But yeah, he's like a 5'8" spark plug second baseman. I like some of the other guys better. Yeah, and Griffin's the number 2 prospect in baseball for BA, and Roman Anthony's 1. So Griffin's going to be 1.
He needs
soon.
And Anthony needs like 30 more at bats or something like that. So it's only a matter of time. Yeah,
kind of like everybody like has their Jack Caglianone fever. Like, oh my God, they passed on this guy who like hasn't been very good. Like they passed on Connor Griffin. It's a problem.
I mean, I'm just gonna say. I mean, it's only been like 80 at bats or 100 at bats for Jack. So I'm not gonna say that he's dead yet, but yeah, the results so far haven't been that good because his chase rate is what his chase rate is, just like we said.
So the Connor Griffin thing, and this is like lofty, and I don't want it to be like, but like his first like minor league season is like what Mike Trout did. Like Mike Trout out of New Jersey, lots of people passed on him because they were uncomfortable with the swing and him playing against nobody in New Jersey, and the Connor Griffin stuff was like, oh, his swing needs a change. Mississippi baseball sucks. Blah 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 blah. Like, and he's awesome.
Yeah, well, needed to get that, guy that they could develop, and I guess they're going to take their time developing until he's perfect.
I do think the Sox scouting staff knew it, though, or suspected it, which gives me some solace. Like, I think it's good that the White Sox scouts loved Connor Griffin. That's a positive.
Uncle Ted says, at best, Griffin could be Bregman.
Yeah, disagree.
I mean, Bregman's pretty good.
Are you watching? Yeah, are you watching? Right, like.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So do you want to go over the schedule here? Because we're butting up to an hour right here. So
yeah, and
let's talk about the next week.
And I'm not thrilled about it, guys. Like I love the live stream. Me and Ian are going to do a live stream for the first, 20 or so picks next Sunday night, and then hop off and then come back on around pick 40, so we can do the Sox picks at 44 and 76. So please join us for both. We'll have guests along the way. We'll have Burke Granger. To start, I think Elijah's going to pop on, and Sleepy's going to pop on at some point too. Here's the thing, though. Draft starts at 5 p.m. Central Time because they're doing 105 picks on Sunday. They're doing 3 rounds Sunday and rounds 4 through 20 on Monday, which means it's going to be a long night. So 5 Central, the draft starts. So we'll be here at 5.
Vince is saying draft starts at 6. I think it starts at 5.
It's 5. Yeah, it's 5.
Yeah, because the
I
coverage starts at 4.
I asked a bunch of people today. It's 5 because it's in Atlanta. It's 6 Eastern.
Yeah, we are not doing 8 hours of stream. I mean, we could do 5 probably.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But 8 hours, like, I don't
The
know.
whole
That's
thing.
too much, man.
I mean, my thought is like I like kind of staying. I'll stay through the Cubs pick, just because I like know more about them than probably some of the other teams they pick at 17. Then we'll probably get off and have like a sandwich or something. And then we'll see how quick it's moving and come back around, I don't know, 40 or so and stay the rest of the night.
Yeah, it's going to be a long day. So this week also, we've got Joe Doyle that's going to be on with us doing we're just going to record it. It's not going to be streaming. So that'll get dropped the next day. I do not have an answer for you as to what the light at the end of the tunnel is.
Well, I have what here's like if Coulson Montgomery is this dude, they're a lot closer than they were a week ago because he can like legit be a dude. Now that doesn't mean he will be, and like he's not the top 10 prospect in baseball that he was before, but he actually has impact star power unlike some of these other guys.
Agreed. Thanks, Jer. Appreciate it. Yeah, Joe Doyle is the goods, and we're looking forward to having him on again. And I'm sure he'll come on, bringing all of his why not wait until 6?
Because we're gonna like for them or us, because we're gonna miss the Sox pick if we go on at 6. It starts at 5. The Nationals are gonna pick at like 5:15 probably.
Yeah, but it's like what?
5
like
minutes,
10 minutes,
I think.
Oh, is it 5 minutes?
I mean, it better be 5 if they're going 105 picks like on night 1. Like, I kind of like, yeah.
I don't know.
How long do these guys need? You can't even make trades. Just take the next guy on your board. Who's the magnet?
True. One of the I'm actually still surprised that they haven't allowed them to trade picks.
Oh,
yet.
That's gonna be the best.
Yeah.
Because right now you would just trade Luis Robert for a pick. And that would be, it's like, okay, we'll just.
Yeah. Oh man. I don't need to see that anymore. You ready, James?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna walk you out. You have been watching / listening to the FutureSox podcast. If you are listening to this in podcast form, know that you can find us every Sunday night at 8 p.m. and next week at 5 p.m. for the MLB draft that's coming up. YouTube and the Purple app. You can also find this podcast along with all of our written content at FutureSox.net. If you are looking for White Sox prospect highlights, you can find them on X at FutureSox and now also here on our YouTube channel. If you love the content, want to support us here at FutureSox, there is a link to our Patreon in our channel description and at FutureSox.net. You can also toss up a super chat on our YouTube stream. Also, don't forget to like this stream and subscribe with the notifications so you know when we're going live while helping us in the World Wide Web algorithms. My name is Ian Eskridge at Daily White Sox. He is James Fox at JamesFox917. We appreciate all of you. Thanks for listening and commenting in the chat. We appreciate you guys so much every week showing up. Thanks for hanging out. You guys are the best, and we will catch up with you guys in a couple of days. Have a good one.